Welcome to the Modernize or Die podcast, CFML News Edition, where we keep you up to date with everything going on in the ColdFusion community. We'll share the latest news on events, releases to engines, frameworks, libraries, and tools, as well as spotlighting quality content from the community. Welcome to Modernize or Die CFML News Edition. This is May 19th, 2020, and I'm lucky to be joined by Eric Peterson today. Welcome.
Thanks, Gavin. It's been a while since I've been on. Glad to be back.
Yeah, busy. I guess it happens when we got a conference and everything else going on with it.
Yeah, I've just been head down in some cool stuff that we get to talk about today.
Very cool. Well, let's start by thanking our sponsors. So thanks Ortus Solutions for giving us the opportunity to do this podcast and help share the word about CFML. And if you guys are looking for some training of any kind, Ortus Solutions can help you with that. We basically have a whole bunch of different trainings set up for you, as well as anything that you want done. We can a la carte design a training for you as well. And we have some new interesting content we'll be talking about today, so don't tune out. And also, thank you to our Patreon supporters. We have almost 50% funded for our Modernize or Die podcast on our Patreon site, patreon.com/Ortus Solutions. So thank you everyone who's supporting us, and if you guys have the means, maybe you'd like to support us there too. And if you do, we appreciate it, and right now we thank every sponsor individually at the end of our show. So, okay, let's get on with some news and events.
Yeah, we're right in the middle of the Adobe ColdFusion Developer Week right now. So it's not too late to get in on that. You can sign up and watch the sessions. There's 2 a day, I believe. And you can get the recordings after as well. Mr. Luis Mohano, is he today or tomorrow, Gavin?
He'll be today. So, yep, he's going to be on this afternoon. So hopefully you guys can take time to come tune in for that. Sorry, we have a little technical difficulty. I'm trying to fix up here as we go. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, yeah, we had 2 sessions yesterday. There were some technical difficulties, but they've been working on that, so hopefully we can get that situated ASAP, and hopefully it'll be a little smoother from here on out. They're going to be releasing the podcast next week as well. Sorry, not the podcast, the recordings. So hopefully you guys can check that out as well, and then we should be able to share the slides and everything as well. So these 10 sessions this week, morning and afternoon. Do check the times though, because I almost got tripped up, because some days they start at 9 a.m. Pacific, some days are 10 a.m. Pacific, and some are 12 Pacific or 1 Pacific. So different days, different times. Definitely check that out. So, very cool. At the same time this week, we also have a Microsoft build going on too. I was actually listening to the keynote right before this. There's some pretty cool stuff going on there.
Right. You know, my first thought when I saw a Microsoft build was, I don't do Microsoft stuff. I don't need this. But then I think all of us use a lot more Microsoft stuff than we think nowadays, between GitHub and Visual Studio Code. There's a lot of products that Microsoft does for me as a web developer. So it was nice to see what they're coming out with to make my life easier.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of good stuff. I mean, just if you're using Windows, obviously the Windows Linux subsystem is pretty awesome. So that number 2 is coming out today. I guess they're releasing that. And then we also have VS Code, which obviously we use quite a lot. So we're working with that. And they just announced today Code Spaces, which is really pretty neat. And hopefully we can get this set up for some of our open source projects. And so basically what it does is, when you go to a project and you want to open up the an IDE for the code without having to be on your computer, or maybe you don't want to set up that whole development environment, instead of spending a whole day working it out, you can basically spin up Code Spaces. And what it does in the background, it starts like a Docker image with all the tools and bits and pieces you need to get that app running. And then it opens a browser window with VS Code in it, and then links through into basically their Docker image, and you can develop it all in the browser inside of GitHub. and it even does port forwarding, so you can actually set up so you can view the site running on that Docker container through port forwarding on your local host as well. And then because of like VS Code's sync settings, you can actually sync your settings, and then all your extensions are there, your theme is there. So even though you're on GitHub's website, you're using your themes with all your plugins, and you got your Ortus solutions, command box extension, etc. already there and working. So obviously we have to tie into some stuff because of like the way command box works and everything, but I can see this being a pretty cool set of tools. So every week we talk about VS Code extensions, we could have them built into our code spaces, so you could just basically fire it up on the web. You get all the linting tools we have, all the formatting we need. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff for a new developer wanting to commit to ColdBox or whatnot. It can be there in the browser already set up for you.
Yeah, I think you hit it on the head there with the pull request flow. There's some of our projects that have some setup that it needs, whether that's a database, CDNet, a cache setup, things like that. And now code spaces can be a one-click process to having somebody contributing to the library.
Yeah,
so that's
very
really
cool.
Awesome.
And they have a session.
Come out now. It's in beta, but I want it now.
Yeah, so they're gonna have a whole session on that later. And the cool thing about Build, I know I'm talking a lot about it, but they have basically a ton of sessions. Like, I couldn't even find all the ones I wanted because there were so many, but they're replaying a lot of them. So they'll do them live and they'll replay them another 2 times at different time zones. So basically, if you watch one in the morning today, it might be on tomorrow afternoon, and then maybe at midnight the next day. So that way, no matter where you're around the world, whatever time zone, they're trying to make it flexible and bring that content to you. So if you go looking for the content, there's a lot of stuff there. But so I looked at VS Code. I was looking a little bit at like the Azure stuff just to find out a little more about it, like CI/CD stuff. And then code spaces was pretty interesting too. So just looking for those 3 things, I found a whole bunch of sessions. So I'm pretty excited to see what they got. So anyway, that's all free. So go sign up at mybuild.microsoft.com.
I just want to comment. Patrick in the chat says that he sounds like code spaces will have a nice cost to it. But if this Microsoft is giving us any hints, it's going to be all free, trying to get our attention and code all into GitHub. So, which is working. It is working.
Yep. I mean, like I said, we obviously use other tools for other customers and everything, but for our open source, it's there. So we may as well. I mean, and Pete Freitag's been doing a lot of cool stuff with actions, and so I'm sure we're going to look at actions a little more as well and try and streamline our processes. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty compelling when everything just works together, and the code spaces works with VS Code so nicely, and now NPM's being acquired and sucked into there, so I'm sure that's going to have some pretty nice tie-ins to GitHub Actions as well.
And all the things in one place. We're not jumping between GitHub and Travis and Jira, and it's just there's a tab for everything you need right on that repo. Though I'm pretty sure we'll never pry Jira away from Luis.
Yeah. Well, as Patrick says, it's cool, but he's very wary having everything consolidated in one place if there's an outage. But the other thing is true, Patrick. If you've got things in 5 different places and one thing goes down, you're still stuck. So, a lot of times we realize how dependent we were on like Amazon, right? When they went down, doesn't matter where you had your stuff. Even some of the hosting providers that were built on Amazon were down because they were using Amazon. And so sometimes when there's an outage, there's just an outage, and you kind of have to deal with it.
I think it's a good idea to think about, kind of the network. Is it network effect or network cost? Like if everybody does get in on GitHub, Microsoft can change the rules anytime. They own it. They can change the prices. They can make things worse. And if we're all in on it, the switching costs will be kind of high. So it's both convenient, and that's why it's free. They're trying to get us over there. So it's something to balance.
Yeah, for sure. But it is a good point. Pros and cons to everything, right? So
I, for one, welcome our new VS Code overlords.
Yeah, for sure. And there's actually the creator of VS Code talks about that in one of the sessions later tomorrow, I think. I want to see that one, kind of see how it started and how it got went from nothing to overlord and overnight, So
right.
I'm sure he's got some interesting stories there. So okay, well, I know there was Into the Box was a couple of weeks ago, but we've got an announcement about that too, right, Eric?
We do. So we've had plenty of requests since then about accessing the videos. You know, we recorded every session. Obviously, with 2 tracks, you can't make everything, and people want to access that. Well, we have some good news. We announced it in the keynote that we were creating a new video training website called CFCasts, and it is live. You can visit it now at cfcasts.com.
Maybe I'll even pull it
And
up and share my screen.
yeah, share the screen and show us what we got. There's a couple, the keynotes are on there for free. And every Into the Box attendee should be receiving an email that gives you a coupon to get the Into the Box videos for free.
So 25 hours and 23 minutes of content is there already just from Into the Box 2020. And that's only the beginning, right? We're getting more content on there.
Yes, so this will be a home for the current content we have out there. We'll be migrating that over. Think like the command box screencasts that you've seen Brad put out or past Into the Box videos. Additionally, this will be a place for new training courses in kind of a bite-sized format as well. You'll be able to purchase individual series or pay just a flat subscription rate to access the whole catalog.
Yep, so you can browse what's new, you can look at the series to see what series, and then obviously you can register online now. If you're getting an email with that code, you're about to actually purchase it with that code for free. So yeah, you guys done a good job. That's one of the things Eric's been working on. He's had this little project hidden away for quite a while now. So
yeah, even before I joined Ortus, I had the desire to make something like this, and I'm very grateful to the Ortus team for making this possible. And I'm excited that we all get to support it now. You'll get much more content and a more diverse range now that it's the whole Ortus team is going to be supporting this rather than just, if I released it myself.
And so Vil said he already tried it, and Scott said 23 hours is the extended cut of the keynote. When did they let Luis finish talking about CB Futures? No, if we let Luis talk about CB Futures, it would be an entire day just for that one session. So, yeah.
So,
sorry, go ahead.
I wanted to geek out a little bit about CFCasts, about what it's built with, right? And in fact, I hope to get a video course up on this. But if you attended or want to go watch any of the sessions from Into the Box, I did one on Quick, one on Inertia. Both are used inside CFCasts here. It's also built, the styling's all with Tailwind CSS, which I am in love with, and using their new Tailwind UI. So this website really sprung up very quickly using all those tools. It took less than a week to get this out. So we live in an awesome day with some great tools.
Yeah, I see some comments there in the chat saying it's pretty.
Yeah, Tailwind. Tailwind's the best.
And it is using Inertia, right?
Yes, it is.
Yep.
So you'll notice the SPA-like feel, but I didn't have to write an API at all.
John Farrar is asking about code coverage. I'm not going to comment on that. What's the code coverage like, Eric? Do you know?
I do know, but I don't have to talk about that.
Okay. It is a prototype. It's the very first level. So we're basically logging in a lot of the Ortus team for the first time too. So we wanted to get it out there as quick as possible. So if you guys have any feedback, please let us know. Email us. There's a link on there. Subscribe to the email list so you can get notified as we release new content and whatnot. And then we'll be getting the purchasing options available for those who weren't at the ITB itself. So you got to purchase that. And we're going to be offering a lot of free stuff going forward. And for those that are paid too, we'll offer some subscription services. So, but right now we're just trying to get the Into the Box videos out and make sure that the system works nicely. And so, yeah, give us some feedback, enjoy the videos, and yeah, if you did attend ITB, look out for that email, and there's a little link at the very, very bottom of the email that says, get access, and that's where you get that code from. If you have problems, apparently if you hit the link at the top of the email, it will not give you access. So that's probably just a link to CFCast itself. But we're excited to have it out there. Good work, Eric. Yeah, so let us know what you guys think, and yeah.
Yeah. Last one is there is a Twitter account you can follow as well, which is just CFCasts on Twitter,
Oh,
and that will be another way you can keep up with all the new features coming out, new content coming out. You're really gonna love this stuff for sure.
okay, great. Very, very cool. So, yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that. I know Brad needs to get his all his command box videos over there right away. His screencasts that he did. We'll have to put those on there too. So we'll have one nice place for everything. So, I'm excited. So, and then we get to make some content too. So, very cool. Okay, so next on the list we have a ColdBox 6 release candidate released. And so this is basically almost ready for a final release, actually. I know we've had lots of iterations, but this release candidate is out there. There's a blog post giving a lot of information about it. So if you guys are using ColdBox, hopefully you can take some time and basically look at this release candidate, try it out for us. We have some, the blog post talks about installation, talks about all the application templates that have been updated, talks about bug reporting, what's new. The compatibility guide is important whenever we're doing a major release, so please check that out. And you can look through all the tasks, new additions, and things we've fixed. So it is a major release. There is some breaking changes, but there's a lot of great stuff in there too.
Yeah, and I would say if you have any modules on ForgeBox, now would be a great time to just pull it down, switch ColdBox to this RC, and run your test suite. Any failures, maybe it's something that we have documented in the upgrade guide. If it's not, we either need it in the upgrade guide or we need to fix it before it goes out. So please help us with that.
Yeah, for sure. Good thinking. Yep. Okay. So the next bit of news is just a reminder, really, that the State of the CF Union survey is still going. We want feedback, so please go check that out. It's on the TierTech site. We'll put that in there in the chat for everybody. It's in the show notes. tiertech.com/state-of-the-CF Union 2020. I'll stop the dashes. But if you guys can go do that, please, it's very helpful. So, okay, well, let's check out conferences. So, obviously, we talked a little bit about CF Developer Week this week and MS Build, but more importantly, Into the Box 2 weeks ago, we didn't have any workshops, but we're about to change that, right, Eric?
We are. We're happy to announce the dates for 3 workshops coming up for Ortus. The first is the Zero to Hero workshop. So that's the ColdBox Zero to Hero on June 4th and 5th. We will have an introduction to Quick on June 11th and 12th. And the ColdBox Hero to Superhero course on June 18th and 19th. Those will be all 2 days, 6 hours a day, and full of all the great content and training that you've come to know from us in person, this time given virtually.
Yep, so I'll be leading the Zero to Hero on the June 4th and 5th. Eric will be doing the Intro to Quick. Or is it Intro to Quick or just Quick? Because you might have time for a little more.
Intro to Quick sounds fine.
Yeah, so
we'll build something cool.
Yeah, and then Luis will be running the Hero to Superhero training. So John says, where's his pen? He wants to sign up. So, but yeah, each of those is going to be 2-day workshops. We'll have 6 hours per day. So it'll be like 9 to 12 Central with a 1 hour break, and then 1 to 4 Central. So we're trying to meet all the time zones in the middle. So, basically we can do that. We'll be using Zoom, and we'll have a nice interactive crowd. So hopefully, we can share screens and help each other, just like an in-person. In-person trainings are great, but these online trainings are going to be, really exciting too. So we're looking forward to it. More details will be announced very soon. Will be a blog post, and there'll be links to be able to go register and sign up. So I'll have to wait for that, for the pricing. I don't think I've been told what the pricing is for any of these yet. So John
I
just wants to
do know
sure.
there is an email blast being prepared to Into the Box attendees. So they'll be getting all the information there and on the blog.
Okay. Great. So next week we'll have more information. And John, we will save you a seat. John Farrar does not want to miss out. So we'll save you a seat. Don't worry. And these are the first three. We know we had other workshops scheduled basically for Into the Box, but we just did these first three. Right after that will be 4th of July, so I'm not sure if they're going to do one the following week or have a week off, and then we may do some more in July. So we know that REST stuff is going to handle it in sort of the superhero one, but containerization was another one that we always do. Test box is another one, so we'll be releasing these as well. So these are just the first three, but this will keep you busy for most of June, and then let us know which ones you want, and we can try and get the next one scheduled after that. So finally announced it. There you go, John. He's been asking me every day for like 5 weeks. So we did mention Adobe ColdFusion Developer Week is still this week, and Microsoft Build. But after that, May 28th, so next week, we have DockerCon Live. So I'm excited about that one too. I'm going to be all conferenced out by the time this is done. But
well, May is a popular month.
Yep. So I know that DockerCon has 3 different streaming sessions you can attend at once, and they have a lot of sessions there too. It'll be one day from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific, but it's all free as well, and you can go to docker.com/DockerCon to register for that, get all the information, and stay up to date with all the Docker stuff. So I'm pretty excited about that as well.
The last 2 conferences we have to talk about, we don't have any new news, but we have CF Summit West, which is scheduled for October 28th and 29th at the Mirage in Vegas. And then we're keeping our eye on CF Camp, seeing what's going to happen with that one this year.
Yep. Now, CF Summit, hopefully they'll announce something about it this week at the Developer Week. I haven't heard anything yet, but we will hopefully get some news here soon. We heard some little whispers that it's going to be announced as a virtual conference here pretty soon too, but we don't have confirmation on that. It's just a whisper on the grapevine. So we'll let you know as soon as we know for sure. Okay, let's get to blogs, tweets, and videos of the week. So this first one is from who else but Ben Adele. So Ben here he's kind of a Regex fan, I guess you could say, right? And
you can say that.
So he found a setting looking through the documentation that Adobe ColdFusion 2018 actually allows you to use Java as your Regex engine. So previously it was all the POSIX pattern for matching for Regex, but I guess with this Adobe ColdFusion 2018 update 5, they just released this new setting. So use Java as Regex engine, and that allows you to sort of use your the RE find, RE match, RE replace, but it'll actually drop down into the Java engine and do the Regex for you. So he does love some Regex, and so basically he walks through that and how to use it, and oh, sweet chickens, as he puts it.
It is a pretty cool feature if you've ever had to do any complex regex and you throw it in. I usually do mine on some like helpful website that does it in real time. I'll throw it in the ColdFusion and then get some weird behavior because it doesn't support like back traces or something. But so it's nice to have this, and I hope Lucy gets this as well since it's in ColdFusion 2018.
Yep. So right here, he said it was not supported by Lucy, but he did locate a Jira ticket for it. It was listed as a compatibility feature, and then Zach already responded saying there was a new bug filed for it here, and so there's a little discussion. So hopefully, Lucy will be able to get that soon as well. So it's pretty cool. I hadn't actually heard of that in the update. A lot of things sneak out in those Adobe updates that you don't know. Usually they're centered around security updates and vulnerabilities because they have to fix those. But those little things they sneak in, if you read all the fine print, you might find it there. So okay. So next on the list, Luis just talked about the ColdBox 6 RC release, so we have that there. We already discussed it a little bit, so we'll move on. And next we have Mr.
Another Ben Adele post.
Yeah, so this is an interesting one too. I don't know if you got a chance to see this one or not, but this one is basically the browser trying to sort of help you a little bit with entities in the URL string. So if you have ampersand and a semicolon in the URL string, when you're trying to, I always get this name wrong, canonicalize the string, it'll loosely match HTML entities and it'll decode them, and it's kind of strange. So that's just one of those ones where it might bite you because it does something you don't expect it to do.
Right. Those are tough situations because you want to make sure you're secured by default, but sometimes you can go a little too far, or they've already encoded it for you, or things like that. So it's good to be aware of.
Yeah, and so you go through different options here, so you'll see different things, and so he goes through the process and plays with it a little bit here. So it's kind of interesting. There's some weird characters he's using, etc. So just very different. So like here it actually decodes the infinity sign and stuff like that. So just one of those things that it might bite you if you've got some weird characters. So as usual, Ben finds the weirdest things, but I'm glad he shares them because one day it will bite somebody and they will be thankful that he did share that.
Very true.
Okay.
Next up, we have a video continuing the Matt Clemente series as he's been going through command box development. This time, and I love this kind of a tutorial, he's customizing the command box startup banner. And the reason I say I love it is there's actually a module for this, and you can customize it. But when you build your own version of the tool, even if it's much simplistic or doesn't have all the features, you learn so much about how somebody else did their work. So you can see this video about him customizing the command box CLI startup banner.
And as he says, learning by trial and error. We definitely need a few errors to learn. So, but yep, very cool. Okay, we also have a Pete Freitag one about writing GitHub action workflows that uses a Docker image. So again, this is one of those things I need to learn more about. I haven't messed with the GitHub actions at all yet, and I need to.
Yeah, I haven't as well, and I'm glad Pete did, because the few times I've looked into it, I'm sure it's very powerful, but man, is their syntax weird.
Yeah, it's a little verbose.
I just want the Travis or the GitLab version where I can just here's my lines of a script, right? A shell script, just do it. And the GitHub is very, I don't know, container based as he kind of goes through here. So thank you, Pete, for figuring this out for us.
Yeah, it's this here is actually including one of his other actions that he saved, and then it's got a name, and then it uses, and then with this it does that, and it's not quite the same.
Actually, if I remember right, the actions checkout isn't one that Pete wrote, but it's rather one that's on GitHub.
Yeah.
Right. He's pulling in from this actions repo, and you can write your own locally, but that's the thing is I don't see shell scripts in there, so I get confused.
Yeah, it's definitely different. It definitely has some power, and his CI session at Into the Box had some good information on it, and he has a lot of examples. So I'm hoping to take some time to get through those later and be very interested to play. I want to play with it. So
you Into the Box attendees can go watch that session on CFCasts.
Yep, exactly. Cool. Well, we have another one in Brian Class's new series, Beyond the Basics of Using AWS S3 and CFML. And so this one, he's going to be restricting access to files in S3 by signing URLs. And so this is a really powerful feature. Basically signing those URLs, vital. Basically, he talked about how people in several credit card companies let the entire world get a lot of access to previously secret information because of their public access on their S3 buckets. Because IAM, or access management, in AWS is not easy sometimes, and so everyone leaves things more open than they should be. And so this the URLs here can be pretty easy to basically make a URL, and ForgeBox is basically built that way. So anytime you get something from ForgeBox now, it's all private buckets, but we generate a URL, digitally signed URL that lasts for so long. So you can pull it down, use it, and then that URL just disappears. it expires.
And along with that, in the ColdBox application, you can use the Ortus's S3 SDK, which has a handy function that will do this signing for you and generate that URL.
Yep. And see this series, he's already got a couple about uploading a file using the AWS Java SDK, and then just signing here. So Brian's one uses the Java SDK, and there's a lot of power in there. There's a lot of different functionality. But yeah, as you said, ForgeBox has quite a few different modules, and the Ortus one has some pretty neat features built in already, and it saves you some of the headaches of not having to use the Java SDK if you're worried about a big SDK. So very cool. And last year Brian's series went 16 blog posts long. I'm wondering if he's going to get that far this time. And again, his session was really good into the box too. Okay, we also had a little tweet from Mark here. He says he put his first command box powered application in production. Does he get some type of badge?
I think he should. He should get one of Matt Gifford's badges.
Oh, he should. Yeah, you can put that on his repo. But
should put that link into the show notes. But those are some quite fun CFML badges.
Yep, as Mark Drew says, welcome to the world of awesome. Very cool. Okay, we also had a blog post from Andrew Dixon about password hashing in CFML. I know Brad has given us a couple of talks over the years about password hashing and what is hashing and how not all hashing is equal, and why you shouldn't use an MD5 hash, for example. And so this blog post is really good. It walks through the steps here and talks about encryption and hashing, and even talks about salts and iterations. So this is a really good in-depth description of how it works, and if you're going to write your own, sort of the steps you need to take, and some of those setup. Salt but no pepper. Pretty funny. But so he puts it all together and gets this generate hash function for you, which is pretty neat. Now, I would always say with encryption and hashing algorithms and any of that stuff, I always think don't do it yourself. Use a library, one that's out there, tried and true and tested. So although this is a great article, I recommend that if you're going to do password hashing, use Bcrypt, right? That's the one that most people recommend. It's powerful and it's slow for a good reason, to make it hard for people to hack it. So yeah, so I would say just use Bcrypt. There are some other ones out there, but Bcrypt seems to be the way, and it's actually up on ForgeBox, so you could use that right away.
Yeah. So yeah, I totally agree.
It's a good article,
library
though. Yeah.
And then save yourself some time, but also you can read here and understand why you're using the library.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, really good blog post though. Like I said, the only thing missing I think is use the library, because I don't know how many people have tried to do that, make something better, but that's what those geniuses are for. Use them. Use their brain power, save yours. So, okay. Well, next up on the list, we have find a job. So we have four new blog job entries this week. But if we have a look on the site here, you'll see that there's 25 ColdFusion positions from 18 companies across 15 locations in 5 countries. So we got 4 new ones in here. So we have a ColdFusion developer position in Downers Grove, Illinois. And then we have 2 positions. They might be duplicates, I'm not sure, but Bengaluru, Karnataka. And then we have a full stack developer in ColdFusion in Aurora, Colorado. So some new jobs here, but you'll see there's quite a few in Washington, D.C., Kansas City, North Carolina, Oklahoma. There's a lot of different positions available. So definitely go check this out. This is getcfmljobs.com. It is a great little site made in ColdFusion, and there is a Get CFML Jobs Twitter handle, so you can follow that. And you can actually post a job if you have a job for your position. You can come post it here as well. So there's some good job opportunities there. Hopefully you guys are all employed, but during this time I know it's kind of tough, and hopefully they can help those looking for a job or maybe a new one. Okay, well, ForgeBox module of the week. This is a pretty easy one this week. I thought we'd do Bcrypt because I thought we'd done
Yeah.
it, but we haven't. And it's one of the ones I use in like every project. So it's kind of strange that we hadn't mentioned it until now.
Yeah, absolutely. And we just mentioned it above. Bcrypt creates cryptographically strong password hashes. Well, any hash, but for passwords. There's a few settings you can tweak about, the number of iterations, salts, things like that. But honestly, in our projects, we install it, we use it. It comes with, I think it comes with CB off nowadays. But there's a ColdFusion module, a ColdBox module, makes it very easy to just hash the password and check the hash against the password coming in, so that like authenticate.
Yep, and then there's more information about Bcrypt too on the GitHub repo itself. It gives you a Wikipedia link about it, and the Bcrypt SourceForge website as well, so you can find more. But yeah, I mean the key things is it's strong, it's slow, and it's not reversible. So those are the big keys. And yeah, I mean it's when we say slow, it's not slow for you to encrypt the password. It's slow for you to try and use the rainbow table to hack it. So slow where it needs to be. But yeah, it's a great tool, simple to use. And to be honest, I have some legacy sites that I wanted to use Bcrypt on, and I didn't have ColdBox running in there. I just hooked up, my own little CFC using that, and I got it to work. And, so it's even if you're not using ColdBox, you can still use this module.
Right. I think the only thing you'd have to do is provide
Java loader.
the Java class.
Yep. And so yeah, you can either throw it in there, or I think I used Wirebox, and I just basically just built it that way. So I used Wirebox, my old legacy app, and still got it to work. So yeah, I was pretty excited to get that working because I didn't want weak passwords. No more weak passwords. So yeah, Bcrypt is easy, and like you say, if you're using ColdBox, install it, and then you have a check password function and a hash, and you're done. It's that easy. So go check it out. Okay. Now, next on our list, we have our VS Code hints, tips, and tricks of the week. And this is another one I couldn't believe we hadn't done yet. Prettier. And now, this is one that Eric loves, so I'll let you talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, so Prettier is a code formatter for JavaScript. It was originally envisioned as very opinionated. I think it launched with like 2 or 3 settings, basically semicolons and quotes. It's evolved because as much as we'd like to say we can all agree on something, we can't. Tabs versus spaces for life. So Prettier will take in a bunch of different formats, originally JavaScript, but now TypeScript, JSON. It will do CSS. It will do HTML, GraphQL, YAML, Markdown. It does a whole bunch of things. It will parse it and spit it out according to certain rules. Now, I use Prettier as sort of like a syntax checker, because in its process, if it can't parse your file, it just won't format. So like I'll paste in some code, or I'll type in some code, hit save because it's all messy formatted. And if nothing happens, I know I made a mistake. So it has that side benefit of, besides just formatting, it can help you catch errors a little bit earlier on.
Yeah. And I mean, it's kind of nice not having to worry about your code format. There's options in the plugin just to format on save. So every time you save, it'll reformat it. And obviously there's a format on paste. But yeah, those are just nice. You can just write your code and save it, and then you don't have to worry about it. Don't have to fight anyone over it. Definitely. I
think we've mentioned
positives
before in talking about CF format that these automated code formatters, when you first start using them, look wrong. Like there's something about it that bugs you. For me, it was the way that Prettier like line breaked object literals. It just always looked dumb to me. But you know what? I don't have to format my code anymore. I can get over it.
Yeah, and you adjust. I mean, some little things that at first I didn't like about certain conventions for formatting, now I like them. And when they're not there, it hurts, like you just get so ingrained. So
one neat thing to tie in from earlier, CFCasts, as I mentioned, was built using Tailwind, and specifically Tailwind has a Tailwind UI project. It's a paid component library that you can copy out some code, change some of your styles, things like that. And it was so nice to have Prettier set up so that when I copied in this huge chunk of, HTML, hit save, everything indented right instead of me having to, figure out the indent level, convert tabs to spaces or whatever, it was. It just formatted it all for me. It would have taken a lot longer because I think most of us are, but I'm kind of crazy about making sure all the HTML has the exact right indentation. I don't want it to look weird.
Yeah. So I know we've talked about several little tools that all help with that. Even, I remember the rainbow indent to tell you if the indentations are not right and stuff like that. And editor config to make sure you have your tabs or spaces used at the right time. And yeah, lots of little tools that just make our life easier. And that's why we like sharing them every week here. So pretty cool one. Okay. Well, let's get to our Patreon supporters. So thank you guys and girls. Without you, we wouldn't be able to do this. Obviously, we're an open source company and we have a lot of open source initiatives, and these podcasts are things that we're really, wanted to get out there and spread the word. And we really thank each and every one of you for your support. And the support, right now we're about 45% of the funding to try and fully support the podcast. But basically, once we hit that mark, then the additional funds will go to CommandBox, ForgeBox, ColdBox, ContentBox, TestBox, and all the other boxes. So we obviously want to give back to the community, and we thank you for those who can financially support us through Patreon at patreon.com/OrtusSolutions. So
without further ado, let's thank our Patreon sponsors. Thank you to Ben Nadal, Brett DeLine, Carl Van Stetten, Dal Lee, Dan Card, Daniel Garcia, David Bellinger, DJ Lisnicki, Don Bellamy, Eric Hoffman, Gary Knight, Jan Yannick, Jeremy Adams, Jonas Erickson, Jordan Clark, Joseph Lamory, Kai Koenig, Laxma Titrahadi, Matt Clemente, Mingo Hagen, Ryan Hughes, Scott Steinbeck, Sean Odin, Stephen Klotz, Synatrix, and Yogesh Mathur. Thank you all for supporting Ortus Solutions and Modernize or Die.
Yep, and if you go to ortussolutions.com/about-us/sponsors, you can see all our sponsors there. And as I mentioned, patreon.com/ortussolutions. You can go see some of our packages and maybe sign up to help us with one of those. So really appreciate it. And we're going to be adding some new benefits to our Patreon very soon for some CFCasts subscriptions as we get moving forward. So if you guys are at the right level on Patreon, you might get a CFCast subscription built in. So we're talking about things like that we can help those who support us, and that was one of the ways we thought we'd be able to support you guys and say thank you. So once we have that official, we'll let you know about that too. But okay, well, thanks everybody for tuning in, following us online on YouTube, or listening on the podcast in your earbuds. Don't forget those two great conferences this week, MS Build and Adobe ColdFusion Developer Week. And we'll catch you all next week.
See you later.
Bye. Show notes for this episode can be found at cfmlnews.modernizeordie.io, where you can also subscribe to your favorite podcast player like Spotify or iTunes. We also have the link to YouTube to find more videos just like this. The music used in this podcast is under a royalty-free license from Sound.com and Blue Tree Audio.